Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Maverick here with episode 23 of No Guns Live. So, last episode we finally get the entire truth and about what happened to Juzo, what exactly was his betrayal of his comrades and all that. Although, once again, it's not really any news to me or to I guess most people, I would presume, since it has been so heavily hinted in the past now that, I mean, what else can you expect, right? Still, it is definitely something that is haunting Juzo, and he's gonna have to get over that. So I'm actually thinking whether or not this episode he's gonna first go berserk a little bit, right? And of course that would be fun to see as well. You know, putting ethics and morals and rooting for the main character aside, I feel like it would be pretty fun to have Juzo go on a berserk for a little while, and then presumably Tetsuro is gonna bring him back down to earth, right? And hopefully in this episode we finally get to see Juzo and Seven really go at it, because so far it's always been teased but still not really up to what I'm expecting from two Gunslave units, right? So with that being said, let's just jump right into it and hope this one is gonna be fun. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Once again, nobody really answered the question why he couldn't just use Harmony on 7. But, eh. Right. We already saw this last episode. Well, he doesn't really need to surround you guys. How is he sure that would have killed them, though? Or is that the sort of secret setting that he has? No, I'm really surprised that Juzo himself wasn't disposed of. It actually grants autonomy to him? Huh. That's an interesting development. And by the way, I already explained last episode. I don't... I feel like not making any decision is a decision in of itself, right? Technically. Although I do agree with the latter part where, you know, just by not doing anything and allowing his previous hands to utilize him, that's still somewhat on him. Although, again, like, what could you really do? Right? Not to mention, I feel like actually killing your comrades and accepting that mission and whatnot, that's one thing. You were fighting in a war before that. Like, war is not something, not a joking matter or whatnot. I mean, sure, you slaughtered a lot of people, but the war has to end somehow. And then once he finally accepts that, he'll probably also be able to really break free of the shackles of his past. Well, unfortunately, the EMS are quite incompetent, I have to say. How exactly? Damn. He just needs to stall. I really don't think Do you seriously know what you're going up against, dude? I like how even though they have them surrounded from 360 degrees, they somehow still find a way to to take shelter from fire. Like, seriously. What now? Okay, so this girl wants to be free? She's gonna put on a show, isn't she? Hmm? Oh. Damn. Okay. Oh, Seven's gonna go berserk now? Hey, actually, the last order that he got was actually to destroy everything, so... there's no stopping him now. Oh, Juzo, come on! Arrive at the nick of time. Fighting for what you want to fight for. Yep. This is one of his. Look. Yeah, that's right. You gotta be the one to decide your future. Yeah, completely true. It's like, I'm your senior, I'm your senpai. Yeah, that's her last order. No. Alright, so we're still going to have a battle. There we go. Oof. Is it all going to be a 3D battle? Aw, come on. Rocket punch! Right to the face! Ooh. Nice. It's like, well, quick correction. I pulled my own trigger. Oh, this entire arm is destroyed. That doesn't really mean much though, because he still has backup arms. I mean, what they want is immortal life, right? So how does harmony tie in with all this? And where's the CEO? Ah, there we go. You are playing with fire, lady. I guess... Well, I don't really know. We'll see. Anyways, see you guys after this. Alrighty guys, I just realized one thing. This episode is actually the penultimate episode towards this season, right? I believe this season only has 12 episodes, so the next one is going to be the last one. Which kind of explains why we see all the CXOs at the very end there, you know, the top dogs of the corporation, and, you know, their omnious sort of, omnious take on the future, right? And making a reference to Astrea, or Astrea, whatever you want to call it, which is a Greek goddess. Apparently, what she represents is perhaps a golden age, so a return to glory. She represents justice and all that, all that good stuff, right? So basically, I feel like what they're implying here is that Tetsuro and Harmony is the keys to their future, right? The keys to perhaps humanity's future, or perhaps the extended future, or perhaps the corporation future, their own future. Hard to say, right? But one thing's for sure, that is Tetsuro has immense value to them here, but they're still also willing to let him go free for the time being, and really allow him to grow a little bit more before finally bringing him in and utilizing his power, right? You know, classic villain sort of, classic super villain type of characteristics and type of plannings. But hey, we're certainly not ready to end the entire series yet. There's obviously still more stuff. So I guess that's just a sort of foreshadowing as to, okay, we're not immediately going to be confronting the corporation, right? There's probably some other things in between. Probably need to dig a little bit more. This is also sort of an investigative series after all, right? You guys still remember, Juzo initially is operating a sort of, I guess not quite detective agency. What's he called again? A resolver, right? But you know, I'm sure that he needs to investigate a lot of different matters happening between extended and overextended versus normal humans, as well as what happened back during the war, as well as the corporation as well. So we still got a lot of that stuff to continue going on. As for this particular episode, really I don't have much problem with it, at least in terms of the story structure and how all the things played out. I feel like that was completely reasonable. You know, and I really like the decision actually to not actually have Tetsuro become Juzo's hands, but actually allow him to say, hey, look, dude, you're not a tool, right? You don't need a hands. You can take control of your own destiny, which is also, in a sense, what Juzo has been trying to teach and preach all along. perhaps as a sort of victim of this sort of treatment, right? But now that we're at this situation, hey, the tables have turned, and now Tetsuro, instead telling Juzo, I fully understand, I fully am on board with what you said to me, but you gotta act it out as well, right? So I really like that, actually. I don't have any problem with how that particular scene played out. I think that was great. The one issue I do have with this particular episode, though, is I feel like for all the hype, I mean, you guys have seen me being hyped for the battle between Seven and Juzo for so long now, right? For so long now. These are two gunslave units. Sure, there's a sort of, a seniority difference and experience difference and whatnot, but come on, the whole time I was waiting for them to go berserk at each other, and sure, they showed us some cool things, right? They showed us some cool weapons and whatnot, but as far as we know, these gunslave units have like multiple configurations. They have like lots of backup weapons and backup hands and all that. Backup arms, I mean. We shouldn't use the term hands because you might get confused with other things. So after all that, I feel like the conclusion here was kind of anticlimactic. I was expecting a way bigger sort of fight between those two, either before or after, right? Maybe as a cause of Pepper direct orders or whatnot, and Juzo having to step in and really apprehend and contain Seven, or whatever the case. But basically, I just wish they had fought a little bit more and utilized a bit more of their abilities. And I mean, considering that this is the second to last episode, I guess in the next one he's going to be convinced to actually go take Pepper away, maybe go treat her or whatnot. I'm sure Pepper's not in any danger. It's just an arm after all, and that arm was already a sort of extended arm, I believe, since it had some modifications to it. So maybe not. In any case, losing an arm is much better than losing your entire life, right? So I'd say Pepper got off pretty lucky there. Although it would be interesting to see like what's her deal, right? She's currently the token crazy girl right now. Apparently she wants to destroy everyone. She has a sort of, I don't know, maybe perhaps an inferiority complex, or maybe she was she's definitely acting all arrogant and almighty and high up, right? So that, considering what she was saying here and considering how she's acting right now, I get the feeling that she might have a very she might have some confidence issues, right? She might have some self-esteem issues, which is why she needs to put on this act and use it to sort of hypnotize herself and say, yeah, I'm actually a big deal. These people, they're all beneath me, etc., etc. So I don't know, because certainly we're not, up to this point in the series, we're not exactly exploring the other characters all that much. It's basically Juzo, Tetsuro, with some Mary sprinkled in there, although not much. But yeah, we'll have to see in the future, right? So I think that pretty much covers everything from this episode. Yeah. In any case, next episode is the last one. Let's see how they wrap it up. I'm quite certain that at the end of all of this, they'll go back to their normal lives. Once again, I'm sort of drawing on Gintama, because I feel like there is a lot of similarities between this series and that series. So this essentially is one big arc, like one big serious arc, but once it ends, I'm expecting them to actually go back to their normal life, and then sure, there is a continuous story, right? So you will continue to have more and more events, but potentially, just like in the in-betweens for these arcs, or I guess you can say the beginnings of these arcs, right? It might start with some mundane, innocuous thing, innocuous client request or whatnot, and then as it goes, as you dig deeper and deeper, then it turns out into this huge arc here, right? So, we'll see about that, but in any case, I'll see you guys in the next episode and the grand finale. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.